Nos encontramos aquí desde el Vaughn College con el Foro President Debates organizado por la Cámara Hispana Comercio de Queens. Estaremos trayéndoles dos preguntas de cada una de estas personas al final de este debate y traeremos sus aperturas y su cierre.
Which is, there's worse reputations to have, obviously, than that, but there's a lot more to me. I'm an environmentalist. I started the lawsuit that shut down the bloody plant. I'm an animal rights activist. I'm having a hearing on my bill to create an animal abuse registry in about 2 weeks. I'm a musician, play 4 instruments. I ride my Harley occasionally. So there's a lot about me that doesn't fall into that law and order box. But the main things I bring to this race that no one else brings. First of all, my person, no, I'm here. But the other things I bring to this race are, I am the only person running who has any public safety experience. Any. A lot of good people running, we all have a lot of governmental experience, and that's important. You can't have only governmental experience. I have public safety experience as a prosecutor and as public safety chair, and I'm also the only small businessman in this race, el único, okay? El único candidato que tiene experiencia con negocios pequeños. El único. That's very important because that's the biggest issue that's facing Queens today. And it's rebuilding after Sandy. It's an issue with the economy, and you have to have someone in office who's going to look at every issue that comes up in the next 4 to 8 years through the eyes of a small business person. My small law firm's been here in Queens since 1932.
They understood that when you live in the borough of Queens, you should be able to work here, raise your family here, have your kids go to school here, and when you want to get in and out of this borough, you should have good, quick transportation that is readily accessible to everyone. And they taught me that, and they taught me about community service and neighborhood. So I'm honored to be in this race for borough president. I believe, like my parents believed, that you should be able to get what you need right here. I believe that we need to create jobs in this borough, that when you're looking at the borough president's office and land use and creating infrastructure is such an important job of that office, that you're able to leverage your experience in creating the jobs that come here to us, the council member and an assembly member and as the director of community boards. I want to raise my 2 children who are 5 years old and 2-year-old right here in the borough of Queens. I want to make sure that they have every opportunity available to them to live here, to work here, to play here, to have a school here that gives them a solid education. I think you can only do that if you are an experienced elected official in this borough and know how to move the borough forward. We need to create jobs. We need to give hospitals here in this borough so that you are able to take your children and your parents and yourselves to get quality health care. I think as we move forward with Obamacare coming on and people going on to more roles, we're going to have to make sure that we have adequate facilities to be able to give that type of care, and also to make sure that we have adequate resources in our emergency rooms. So whether you are here, have insurance, have identification, you have the right and the access to good health care throughout this entire borough. It is not only the moral thing to do, it saves the city money to get primary health care and have it available. As your borough president, I would like to work with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, but also the Chambers of Commerce all over the borough of Queens to make sure that we create adequate economic development in our borough. Let me thank you for hosting. Thank you for being a great MC. You deserve a lot of credit for bringing everyone together, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for being here and to the college.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic.
Yeah, let me thank everybody. Melinda, just thank again. And rather than go through all the names and eat into my 2 minutes, I'll just say that. Really, I mostly want to thank you guys for coming and staying for the whole thing. Nobody left. That's great. A lot of times we have people walking out because we're so boring. Because we know our stuff. We're not giving both of us. We're not giving you answers. The fluff answers or anything. We're giving you technical answers, trying to actually answer your questions, which is very rare, by the way. So, but we're both trying to do that tonight. Melinda said she's an elected official, and there's a lot of good elected officials running. As I said, you have a lot of good choices, but you need to look at what experience they bring to that office of borough president, other than being an elected official. I am the only person who was a prosecutor and who's public safety chair with any experience keeping Queens safe. And I think more importantly, I'm the only person who's ever run a small business. It's my family's small business since 1932. And that, I think, is the most important issue facing Queens right now. Our small businesses are the backbone of Queens. Without our small businesses, we don't have the money to pay for the services, the other services we need, like senior centers and police and things like that. So you need somebody in that office who's going to bring a private business experience into that office. On every issue, we don't know what issues are going to come up. Every issue that comes up over the next 8 years has to be looked at through the eyes of someone who has those two priorities, which I think are your priorities, keeping us safe and getting our businesses to thrive. Also take a look at who's been out there in the past fighting on Queens issues, who's been out there vocally supporting Queens when it comes to plows, when it comes to electricity, when it comes to our bridge. I've been out there, I have that record, I have that experience, and hopefully I'll have your vote, and look forward to working with you in whatever capacity I wind up in to keep Queens the greatest county in the world. Thank you. God bless.
Alfredo, do you want to close us out here? Thank you guys very much. It was an absolute pleasure to host. It was informative, and I really do appreciate it. Thank everybody for coming tonight. All right?
Evening. I would like to thank the candidates, Peter, Kat, for actually coming out here and telling it as it is. You know, tough questions that Chris asked to them, and I think that they gave us the honest opinion of what they believe in, and I think that both of them are great candidates for the borough of Queens, and I hope them both will with the best wishes, and hope the best person wins. But I would like to thank everybody and say, please make sure you guys get home safe, and thank you again.
Mr. Vallone, this is, again, you here when the Spanish community attending this event. Tell me something about the small business. I hear a lot of questions, a lot of people talking about this particular, how you planning to help the community, and especially the Spanish community.
No, gracias. Soy el único candidato que tiene experiencia con negocios pequeños. The only one, and I have been a small business person. You know, I ran my family's small firm for 10 years before I was elected. There's a lot of good people running. You just heard from a good person. But I'm the only one who has that background. And so everybody can talk about how important small businesses are, but I know it. I know the struggle small businesses face. Our Hispanic community is made up of small business people. You know, they're running all of our small businesses. That's the backbone of Queens. They're the ones paying the taxes. But instead of being helped, the city's coming after them all the time with fines, with inspections, with taxes and water rates. And again, the last bill I passed was one that said to the city, come back to us in August and tell us what fines should be warnings. Why the hell are you warning? Why are you fining these restaurants and all these other places $500, $2,000 when you should be warning them, saying fix your pipe or something like that? So. And that's just an example of how you look at every issue that's going to come up in Queens through the eyes of a small business person. And I'm the only small business person running. And I think that's going to be very important in the Hispanic community.
I know, what is your plans for the Roosevelt Avenue?
Well, as I said at the forum, wasn't really a debate. We got along very well. But the main way you revitalize any area is by keeping it safe. Julius is doing a great job of bringing in the city agencies. That's necessary. But the first way to revitalize any area is keeping it safe. That's what my father did in 1991 with the Safe Streets, Safe City program, where he hired 10,000 more cops, and that turned the city around. And since 1991, we are down 80% in crime, and that was the catalyst that got our economy going. So I'm the chair of the Public Safety Committee for 11 years. I've worked very closely with Ray Kelly. I have oversight over the police department to bring crime down another 35%. Before I was elected, I was a prosecutor for 6 years. So I'm the only person running with experience keeping Queens safe, and Roosevelt Avenue needs to be kept much safer than it is now.
Thank you for your time. What are your position about the stadium is going to be built and the mall is going to be planning to build in the Flushing Meadow Park?
I think that there is a great desire and need for a soccer stadium here in the borough of Queens. I think I'd like to work out where exactly that goes and how it's built. We don't have the details yet on the individual contracts that they are working at with the Flushing Meadow Park, but I do believe that there is clearly has been hearing the great need and the desire to have one here in the borough of Queens. So I look forward to working with folks on it.
So basically, we understand the people who use the Flushing Meadow Park is the Spanish people or the immigrant community because they don't have more places to have fun or they don't have transportation to go to Westchester or the Hamptons. So basically, we're going to have is taking space from us to build in a soccer stadium that I think we really don't need it.
Right. So as the contract becomes clearer and we work out some of the details, I think the location of the stadium is still up and a very, very major issue, and I think you're right about that. I will say that I bring my children to Flushing Meadow Park almost every single week, either just to play in the park, the zoo, all of the things that are there at the park that are so beautiful. So I think that it is used universally across the borough, and it's important that we keep a lot of the green space there. There's not many places to go in the city of New York to be able to bring your kids and just play a soccer game or, play a pickup game of ball with a t-ball and things like that. We do a lot of that in our family as well, and I know how important it is for the open space.
Thank you for your time. Ustedes pueden ver, el debate ha terminado. El senador Peralta no asistió y envió una carta y unas disculpas. Realmente no entendemos por qué, ya que creemos que es importante para la comunidad hispana su presencia y que nos explique por qué es importante para nosotros elegirlo a él como presidente del condado de Queens. Gracias amigos por esta noche. Nos veremos la próxima. Mi nombre es Carlos Plaza para areanewyork.com.